this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it comes to making an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas make socks, slippers, tees, and underwear made with the highest quality materials. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for style, 3 for donation. You chose style. Bombas has styles for whatever you enjoy. You can run in Bombas, lounge in Bombas, dress them up, dress them down, but always give back in Bombas. Because with every item purchased, another is donated. Bombas, comfort worth calling for. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Best pod, Robert. I'm behind the bastards. This is a Robert Evans about people who aren't nice. Jesus Christ, that didn't work out well.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well then that's the intro every single day from now on. Chris, just copy and paste that for every future episode.
Did not like it that much.
Well, we're here today for a special episode of Behind the Bastards. It's very different from our normal episodes. I don't have anything prepared or written, but after watching Tiger King, Billy and I got together via Sophia, via the text messaging app that these kids are all using today's. Texting. It's what the kids, they love it. And we started talking about how this show made us feel, and we decided that we should probably do that for like an hour or so. And I think even more than talking about Tiger King, we're going to wind up talking about the South and the rural United States, because the overwhelming impression I have as a result of Tiger King is that most of my fellow Americans, because the majority of Americans live in urban areas and they live outside of the South, most of my fellow Americans felt like this was some sort of bizarre fairy tale, as opposed to like, I've known every fucking one of these people.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. So, Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Sophie. It's good to see you guys even, just like this.
Do you guys like my attire today? I dressed it on theme.
Sophie's wearing leopard print. So she's ready to go
Not
work with Doc
matching
Antley.
leopard print. Anderson's wearing some sort of jungle print. We look awful. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you do look like you're like a super Target customer somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you,
You look
Billy.
like you're going to explain to me why the master says that we can't eat in the dining room, and instead I have to eat in a barn off of a floor for the first 9 months that I'm cleaning up the elephant slop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is a thing that happens, kind of, to people who join Doc Antley's. Anyway, Billy, you want to tell me about your experience with Tiger King?
Well, I mean, I had heard of it. I had heard of Joe Exotic before because friends of mine's podcast, the last podcast guys like Henry and Ben and those guys, he came up on their radar because they have the wonderful weirdo radar. So, but I forgot about it, and then as I'm watching it, I was like, I know who this dude is.
Yeah,
And then it was like, I think my wife was like, some of this is unbelievable. And I was like, well, I think they're leaving out the meth part.
Yes.
They allude to it, but not until like one of the last episodes. They're like, oh, and by the way, everybody was really, really fucked up.
Yeah.
That was the thing where like there was some of it where it was like all of this makes perfect sense with people I grew up around or with, and then people I've encountered traveling my whole life. If you leave a city, you're just like, or even in the city. I mean, there's a little person in this neighborhood I used to work in New York City who had a Great Dane who was taller than him. And I remember everyone was like, isn't that crazy? And I was like, nah, he would fit right in my hometown. That guy is like perfect.
Yeah.
Or
I don't
the guy who walks his goat on Hollywood Boulevard every day.
Yeah, that doesn't even, like, I've stopped at a gas station in Louisiana that had a tiger. Like, it was a gas station tiger in Louisiana. I don't think it's there anymore. I think, though, that they've replaced it with emu. They've replaced it with some sort of weird animal. Like, and there's alligators, too. Like, I've lost track of the number of animals in gas stations specifically throughout the South that should not be on display in those places. It's not an uncommon thing to encounter. And I guess some of why this didn't seem weird to me, I grew up 3 hours away from Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
Like Wynnewood's about 3 hours away from Idabel too, something like that. And as a little kid, some of my earliest memories are like driving to and from, different chunks of Oklahoma, and you would see these, and there was more than one different type of, we have a bunch of tigers on some land ads that you would see by the highway. And all of them are the same business, which is a dangerous person has acquired 300 acres of land and an indiscriminate number of large cats, and that's the business.
That's the business.
That is the business. It was just always a part of my life.
I remember noticing driving through Texas. This was like probably 10 years ago. And you're used to seeing, I grew up, my grandpa had cattle, so there's a certain height of fence you're used to seeing. Yeah. And then every now and then you'd see one that was like, why is that motherfucker 20 feet? Oh, because they've got some stuff you shouldn't have in Texas.
Yeah, they have illegal animal. Well, they're not illegal animals because Texas...
I didn't say illegal. I said shouldn't have in Texas.
Very fair. Yeah, so we should, like, the statistics, like, one thing you'll hear a lot that I have repeated myself that may or may not be true is the idea that there are more big cats in private ownership in Texas than there are in the wild. And this may or may not be true.
It might not be true for specific Texas, but it is for the United States. I saw that stat.
Yeah, it's probably
horrifying.
true for the United States. 5,000 is a reasonable estimate, and most of those are in private hands. Well, you'll hear various estimates. 5,000 is the kind of credible credible minimum estimate, I would say. I don't know. It's hard to say because a lot of people will say no, there's not nearly as many. Like even 5,000 is too high. But all of their data is based on like official government numbers for who's allowed to own these animals.
And the people that want these animals they're going to lie on a census. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're never going to tell you. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
In fucking Los Angeles, California, I got a couple of my tattoos in a tattoo shop that was a former Shark Tank for a drug dealer. Like it was a warehouse that he had converted to his mansion, and the room that later, when he got busted, became a tattoo shop was where his shark lived. Shit like this. That shark wasn't on a registry.
No, he was not.
He's
still not on a registry.
It's estimated that
he's in some cop's house right now.
Wait, guys, listen to the stat. There's estimated that there are 10,000 to 20,000 big cats in the U.S.
But those are problematic numbers too, because those are all from the Humane Society, right, or from some animal welfare society, right?
No, this is held in private ownership, and it's from.
Yeah, but where's the number from?
I've seen this number on several different websites. I'm not sure where they're getting it.
it tends to track back from my research. It always tracks back to the Humane Society or someone similar, which isn't necessarily a bad source, but like also they make their money based off of donations from convincing people that a lot of tigers and stuff are being harmed. So it's like we have no way of knowing. Like the actual answer is that there are thousands of tigers in America, and no one will ever know how many there are or who has them.
No, because
they're
a lot
just
of people
all
keep
over the
making
place.
them fuck too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so we were talking about this a little earlier, and I think I'm of the opinion that in terms of from a legal standpoint, I think Carol Baskin is probably in the right. I think she dotted her I's and crossed her T's. I believe every complaint she has about the humane issues with Joe Exotic's tiger
yes,
plantation.
But that's like saying everything. Legally, everything Dick Cheney did was cool too.
Yeah,
she's a Dick Cheney type person.
Yeah, I think she and Doc Antley and Joe Exotic are all murderers. And I don't know who they've killed. Like, I'm not even saying I think that she killed her husband. I have no idea. One of the things you learn spending a lot of time in rural America is rich men in their 70s disappear for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes they just leave. A lot of
Sometimes they just leave. Yeah, he might just be in Mexico.
I've been thinking about that for 40 years. Like one day I'm going to leave.
One of my favorite things
go.
that I've read since watching this is what's on her big cat rescue.org about refuting Netflix Tiger King.
Mm-hmm.
And their use of a meat grinder graphic. Like that was a choice you made. And it's just like a 10-minute video of her husband being like, if Kim Kardashian, you're welcome here anytime. I know you tweeted, like, so do we think Carol's a murderer? And like, I'd know if anybody had spent a minute with Carol, they would know. But like, Kim, you can come. Not all of you can come, but Kim, you can come. It's really funny.
Carol is, so there's, I think what I wanted to really get into, even more than specific discussion about Tiger King, is the kind of people that these folks are. Because all three of these main characters in the documentary are part of a classification of human being that exists only in America. And I would broadly describe them all as rich off-grid criminals. Now, every town that is sufficiently in the middle of nowhere has a rich off-grid person, if not more than one. And they fall into two groups. They're all criminals. Every single one of them has committed some sort of serious crimes. There are the non-violent criminals. So these are people who embezzled money, who committed tax fraud, who stole a bunch of money, who were in the drug business. And they're awesome. If you can hang out with those people, do, because they have cool shit.
Technically, what I did was steal from the church. That is technically what I did. Yes.
Fuck it.
I did embezzle $100 million from a church. But
you could... Fuck it. Yeah. And they always have weird animals, and they're often very nice people, and they have cool houses, and you can shoot on their land, and a lot of them rule.
They are fun until they are not. That's who these people are.
That's a lot. It depends. Like the non-violent ones, and it can be hard to tell. The non-violent ones I've had good relationships with, but the other half of the rich off-grid criminals are violent criminals.
Yes, they are.
And they are usually the outwardly nicest.
Yes.
Like, Doc Antley, I think, is the kind of person that I've run into the most in my travels through rural America. He seems very familiar to me.
Keith Raniere guy?
He's got some Keith Raniere energy. I met a couple of Doc Antleys out in Slab City. Like it is a type of dude you meet out in the middle of nowhere who knows a bunch of cool shit. They always have like a bunch of talents. They're usually real good at building shit. They have something that they have created that draws people to them. And they are usually very friendly, and the longer you know them, the more controlling you realize they are. That is the type of person you run into.
They understand parts of human nature in a way most people don't, but they're using their power for usually sex.
Almost always sex.
Yes.
In an interview he gave, like, on a radio station after this came out, he said that all those women, were relatives, daughters, his children's wives, he's I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, y'all are all related, sir.
I got no judgments for like a polyamorous guy who wants to live on a compound, because I'm a polyamorous guy who wants to live on a compound. And yes, if I could have a tiger, I would have a tiger.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
we know that.
That was very clear from the beginning, sir.
But yeah, I got a story I want to tell about.
But you don't want to sell their cubs.
You don't want to sell their cubs. And Doc Antley has been accused of some horrific stuff. He has more than 35 USDA violations for mistreating animals as a result of his farm. The Humane Society tracked one of his tiger cubs that he claims are, very ethically sort of, sold to different reputable people that wound up on basically a tiger farm in the middle, I think South Carolina. And it was sent over with ringworm at 3 weeks old, which is too young, and was immediately put into a petting zoo. Yeah, he does a bunch of fucked up shit. He's also apparently a really good tiger trainer, because his tigers and shit, they've been in a bunch of movies. He knows his shit. He's not bad at what he does. He's a bad person who has created a tiger breeding mill.
Yeah, he's like one of those country music singers in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Where they have this gift.
Yes.
And they use their gift for, like you said, usually bad money stuff or bad sex stuff. That's because they realize I have this thing that attracts people, and I can get them to do what I want and then move on to the next.
Yeah, everyone has talents, but most of us don't have a talent that is so specific and desirable that we don't have to ever learn anything else.
Yeah.
And if you are good at making tigers like you and keeping them alive and training them and stuff, because of, number one, the fact that there's money in that, and number two, the fact that people lose their fucking minds around cats, which again, I lose my fucking mind around cats. I can't think straight when I've been to the places where they have little baby tigers, and it short circuits your fucking brain. I understand how these women get stuck in this for years, because if I would put up with a lot of shit to get to play with baby tigers every day.
Yeah, it's drugs. It's drugs.
It's the most powerful.
They're junkies. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's creating these tiger junkies. That's I went when I did this documentary I hosted a couple years ago. We went to this cat lady in Pahrump, Nevada, and she wasn't trying to make money off this at all. She was a divorced lady. Now her ex-husband was still alive.
Good to know.
It was interesting. I was like, oh, that's probably why she made that such a point. When I watched Tiger King, I was I remember thinking that's why she was so clear about her husband still being alive, because we were all like, why'd she say that like that?
Right.
But we didn't know who Carol Baskins was. Do you know what I mean? But she did. I guarantee you she did. And her whole thing was she rescued them.
Yeah, I do have some friends who live out in the middle of nowhere who have a lot of land and are looking at figuring out how they can get involved in a program to rehab big cats that have been abused or confiscated from drug dealers. There's ways to do that. I have a friend who does giant lizards. There are programs if you're a non-grifter, non-monster, and you're I want to make my whole life be about having a giant cat that I take care of. That's a dream you can achieve in this country, and I love that about America.
It is great, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. But it also, we don't talk enough about the mind-altering power of cats. I had some friends who kind of accidentally acquired an F1 hybrid civet, which is a wild... It was I don't know, 20, 30-pound, half-wild cat. Enough of a house cat that it looked like an enormous, very muscular house cat.
Yeah, with the long tail. Is that what the one you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, and very smart and very sweet, very personable, very trainable, but also destroyed everything. Could not be stopped. Yeah, and they put up with it for so long because they just loved that fucking cat so much. It was, eventually they found a farm for it, but it was this thing of where I could see it you guys know this is a bad idea. He's destroying your house. You can't stop him from pooping everywhere. He's murdering every animal in the neighborhood.
I think it sounds like you sound like you're describing someone that was with Charlie Sheen. Is also where it's like he's fun and like a lot of times like very engaging, but then every now and then he'll destroy everything you own just because.
Yeah. I've known some people who know Andy Dick, and the stories are not dissimilar. But big cats are much better behaved.
I've been around Andy Dick on several occasions. So every story I've ever heard, I'm like, yes. And then I would much rather be around a big cat, than Andy Dick. I could say that.
So I wanted to get into a little bit of like one of the posts that I saw from a friend of mine on Twitter after they finished Tiger King was, I just finished Tiger King and I've realized that I don't understand the South at all. And I love that people are having this reaction because there's some important stuff in Tiger King. Because a lot of what people think is weird in Tiger King is not weird. Like Joe's relationship with his guns and tannerite is so fucking common. The putting faces on it is a little weird, but not even that weird. Like,
such a good point, Robert.
Yeah.
Such a good point. Like, I would go on Twitter and like some of the stuff people were like, I couldn't believe this. Like, I was like, oh, that didn't even register in my brain as an odd thing.
This guy just always wears a gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? You see him use it for a very practical purpose at one point. He needs to have a gun if you're walking around in tiger cages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if the straight kid that you're messed up to marry's mom shows up, you got to shoot at her feet sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, there's tons of videos of Hunter Thompson out in his farm in Colorado getting into friendly gunfights with his neighbors. It's not weird, okay?
I've seen it. I'm from the South. We used to shoot cannons at each other on the 4th of July.
That's pretty cool.
We used to fire into Lake Texoma until we had to run away from the Coast Guard. You know, you'd blow up chunks of the country every year. It was just it's not weird, okay?
The state park superintendent where I live, son, set off a bomb in the state park. And all of us were like, oh yeah, that checks out. Spencer would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also seen people talk about like how weird it is that like law enforcement wasn't involved in more chunks of this, that like these people are just kind of left to their own devices. And it's again this like, I think those people have spent most of their time in the city.
Yes.
I can remember one time out on my my partner's property in the middle of fucking nowhere in Texas, we had, as a result of a younger relative of hers making a poor decision with fireworks, a brush fire that immediately got out of control and got to like the 1.5 acre, 2 acre. It was going to like hit the vehicle parking lot where we had all of our cars because there were a lot of folks there, and like burn down this house. It was like a bad wildfire. And like as we're scrambling to put this fucking thing out, she's on the phone with the fire department and they tell her finally like, we can't figure out where you are, and hang up.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of people's experience with like, yeah, that's what the law is out here.
Yes.
Like if there's a murder, someone will come eventually.
and y'all are telling us you don't know who did that? You're telling us. You're trying to tell us, the police, that all 7 of y'all that live out there don't know who killed one of you. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be here after dark, so I guess that's the end of this investigation.
Well, and I think one of the parts I laughed the hardest at, and I know I shouldn't, but when they showed the footage from Zanesville, Ohio, the press conference of that small town sheriff, he was like, there's 12 lions, there's 4 bears, and 1 goddamn baboon. The way he said it was just like, he can't say the F word, but he said the F. It was just like, and a baboon is loose. And I was like, I was like cry laughing in the bed, and my wife was like, what's so funny about that? I was like, I don't know, I'm just picturing that's exactly what my town would do. Like, I'm just picturing people I know growing up being in that position, being like, you think you want to shoot a lion your whole life, and then you're looking at one in the face and you're like, this is the scariest, worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. I've spent some long nights actually out in a farm as a dear friend of mine is spraying down like fucking crops. and like waiting for a mountain lion with a rifle because we were out in fucking rural central California, and it was a drought season, and there were like the big cat that was in the area, because there's usually, in an area like that, there's like a big cat that everyone knows about. You see signs of it. You don't see the cat usually because they're fucking good at not being seen. Yeah. But there will be, in this case, like some of the land she was on, this was like my partner at the time, like some of the land she was working on had little horses, and they were just like torn apart. You would just see pieces of them in the morning. And it was like, okay, this is clearly a problem because normally the mountain lion doesn't come this close to human beings. It was close to the house. And people in town started talking about like, yeah, it might kill somebody. Don't be out alone in the field at night. So I've spent nights of my life like with a rifle being like, I hope I don't meet any cats, because I've got an AK-47, but also I know I'm not faster or better at hunting than that cat.
Yeah, and by the time I realize I need to use this AK-47, that cat has got me.
Yeah, and I don't trust the stopping power of a weapon that will put down human beings very easily to put down a cat that quickly.
No.
And another one of the scary things, speaking of terrifying rich people I've known in the middle of nowhere, I've known some folk who hunted animals like that with crossbows and would get very close and stalk cats on their own with a fucking bow. And those are people you don't want to fuck with.
No.
No, because they're better at hunting than a big cat.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they're getting something out of it a cat doesn't.
Yeah, and they're I will not say which state this person is. I will not say their name. I will say those were not legal cat hunts.
No.
No, of course not.
Robert, do you know what else is not a legal cat hunt?
You know what won't illegally hunt mountain lions?
No, what?
Well, unless it's the Koch Industries. Charles Koch cannot get erect without bathing his penis in the blood of an infant mountain lion. And that's on record. He talks about that openly. So consider this legally binding, Koch lawyers.
There's a reason he chose Wichita. Mm-hmm. So
absolutely, it is the masturbate with cat blood state. Mm-hmm. That's what they call Kansas. Here's some ads.
Services.
Let's talk about modern home shopping. It's sort of become a fun side hobby, right? Scrolling listings at night, dreaming about kitchens you've never seen, or backyards you haven't even stepped foot in, all from the comfort of pretty much anywhere. Redfin knows a lot of people like you want to own, but are stuck in this browsing mode loop. That's where Redfin flips the script. With listings that update within minutes and tours you can book right from the Redfin app, you can see your dream home the moment it appears. Now, liking a listing is easy, but actually landing it, that's where Redfin comes in. Redfin has over 2,200 agents with local expertise. And Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. That means they want to help you win, not just window shop. Redfin is built to help you go from just looking to wait, this could actually be home. So become the newest neighbor on the block. Visit redfin.com to start finding and start owning. That's redfin.com.
You've never been one to settle. Stand down or stand still. You're a lifelong learner, energized by excellence. There's a fire inside you you can't ignore. You've got competition to outrun, momentum to build on, and your own high standards to meet. Stop now? Not a chance. At Capella University, we help you catch what you're chasing because you've always had the drive. Now, go earn the degree. Capella University, what can't you do? Visit capella.edu to learn more.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats NYX leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
We're back. And I kind of wanted to move to telling some stories, Billy, because I think we both have stories of kooky folks we've met out in nowhere who I kind of, my goal with this is like, I'm glad that people are enjoying Tiger King. It is a fun show. I enjoyed it myself. I would like people to understand how many Tiger Kings there are out there in the world, even the ones that don't have tigers.
Yeah, I don't think, if you didn't grow up in the South, or not even in the South, if you didn't grow up in a rural area, I don't think you truly, even then, okay, here's the thing. Even then, if you didn't live outside of town, you might not understand these people too. I think that has something to, like, because like even where I'm from, because of where I lived out in the quote unquote country part of my rural county, I was still like a country. There were like people that lived in town, we considered them city kids.
Yeah, and that I think that is a part of it. Like there's rural, and then there's like fucking nowhere, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. There's rural, and then there are not services. Yeah.
Yeah, there's rural, and then there's where your buddy's dad, who's a game warden, tells you not to go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, if you cross onto the wrong line, they just shoot people because they got pot fields out there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I was out nowhere adjacent. And I was in a rural town that was kind of bordered by fucking nowhere. This would have been 5-6 years ago with my partner at the time. And it was around Thanksgiving. And we were out on the town walking around, and she had an Israeli Air Force shirt on. It was not a political statement. I don't think either of us were. Yeah, it was just she liked the logo on it. It's a shirt she'd had for years. So she's wearing the shirt, and a guy picks it out, and he's like, "Hey, you know, it's good to see somebody else who likes Israel. You know, I was in the IDF," and we were like, "Oh, cool." And we talked for like 10 minutes, and he invites us over to his house for dinner for the night. And this is a guy, late 40s, early 50s, something like that. Does not sound Israeli, sounds very American, but, you know, there's a sizable number of American, like, born, you know, Jewish folks who went to Israel, served in the IDF, came back. That's the thing that happened. So no alarm bells yet, just like this nice guy who invites us out to his farm. So we drive out about an hour and a half from the town, maybe less, but we drive out quite a ways from the town to get to this guy's house. And this is the middle of the fucking mountains. And we are, like, his house is at the foot of one mountain that's maybe 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 feet. And then there's a 14,000 foot peak, like, kind of a couple of miles back. So he is in some fucking rough country. And he's got this gigantic, beautiful stone ranch mansion that's like it's still to this day, like, my from the outside, my dream home, like made out of like clearly 100-something years old, made out of like beautiful like stonework, and then there's this like massive complex of pastures and pens and like a ton of horses and cows on land. It's just this amazing ranch setup. And so we're like, oh shit, we're gonna meet. Like, I love meeting cool people who own compounds in the middle of the woods because you get to do fun shit on them. So we think this is that. So we meet this guy. We head into his house, and the first thing we notice is that there's no furniture in his house except for in one corner of one room. The second is that one of the empty living rooms is filled with bags of marijuana, which is not that weird for us, but it also makes it clear, like, oh, okay,
Like
this is
how
not
like big bags
a normal
of marijuana.
residence. He's probably 60 to 100 pounds, that was just
Okay.
kind of sitting out. So not like the biggest operation in the world, but he's clearly running a pot farm that's not tiny,
Yeah.
And it's also clear that like, oh, you don't really, like you live here, but you don't really live here. This is a bit of a trap house,
Yes.
But the other thing that we notice is that the one corner of the big living room that has furniture has like a couple of couches and then probably 500 or more different kind of knives and swords. And this is the thing. You know me. I love knives. I have a ton of knives around me. There's knives hanging up on my walls. I'm always surrounded by knives. I'm not going to judge a man for owning knives. These were not the kind of knives that that a reasonable person owns. Do you remember Bud K catalogs?
Yeah, vaguely.
It's like all of the knives that look like they were from like a low budget horror movie where they're like like Wolverine claws that you can stick on your fist, or like these like curved daggers made out of, and they're all made out of like shitty steel, and they all break, and they all look like something that like a bad superhero from the 1990s would have like welded to his body, like toy knives. And he has like 500 of these all stacked in a corner of the room around his couch. And so that's weird, but he's very nice, and he brings us in and he introduces us to his child bride, which is when things get problematic. So again, this guy is in his mid-40s to early 50s maybe. His wife is not a day over 18, and they have clearly been dating for a while. Oh. And it becomes clear through conversations that she is not in contact with her family. Yeah, this is my wife I'm raising. And she cooks us a lovely dinner, and we I
bet sure as hell she does, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And doesn't talk much. And he's very polite and tells us about his mom, who was some sort of great hero in the Israeli army. And it was all lies. It was very clear that it was all like, no, your mom didn't kill 60 guys in this one fight during the, like, it just didn't happen. Like, you're just lying about a person who isn't real. And he repeatedly, the thing that got to be really unsettling is he would repeatedly, every time, like, I try to be polite to human beings. So every time, like, his wife would, like, bring in food or, like, would refill a drink, I would thank her, or I would thank him when he was, like, bringing in. And he'd be like, every time either of us thanked him, he would be like, not enough people show respect anymore. That's what I like, is seeing respect. People need to, like, that's what makes someone a good person or not, is showing respect. And it was such a constant thing he brought up to where I was like, oh, something horrible happens in this household when you two are the only ones here and she doesn't say thank you. Like, and he had big Doc Antley energy, and I never got what his full grift was, but he invited us to live with him by the end of the night, which is not the first time that's happened to me. It's actually happened quite a lot, because again, and this was a thing, my partner and I at the time had this habit of being met by weird people in the middle of nowhere, and they would invite us into their lives, and we would say, yeah, sure. And then things would get horribly uncomfortable. And that time we were just like, as soon as we got in the car, like, no, this guy lives too far out in the middle of nowhere. He could make us we just need
child bride.
Lose this guy's number and never come back here. So I don't know what was going on there. You often don't learn the whole story, right?
You never know the whole story.
If you're smart, you never learn the whole story.
That's something I learned. I mean, doing touring your whole adult life, you do, especially in your 20s, because you're looking for adventure more than you're just going through life. Especially if you're stand-up, because you're like, I need some stories. So early on, I would say yes to people after, I would go places you're not supposed to go. And it only happened a couple of times. But there was always weird animals.
Yeah.
Always.
Very often.
Now, reptiles are pretty common. That normally didn't throw me off. But, like, there would always be, like, the time I remember where I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again, was these people, I talked about pot, and they're like, hey, do you want to smoke afterwards? And I was like, sure. So I got in the car and went with them, and then it was like there was a snake, and then they had weird rodents, but as pets.
Define weird.
Like ferret type rodents that weren't. Do you know what I mean? Like where I was like, I don't know what those are.
Something. Sure. It's like it was very clear that they went to some effort to acquire animals people don't normally have access to.
Yes.
Yeah. yeah.
And then by smoke, they pulled out heroin. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, I can't. And I was like very polite. And I was like, that's not what I meant. I thought it was pretty clear on stage in front of 300 people that I just smoked pot. And they were like, we thought you were speaking in code because you called it dope. And I was like, maybe one.
No.
It was just like, but then, like, that wasn't even the weirdest part. It was those weird rodents. I kept thinking that was the key to me.
Yeah.
That was weird. Like, I might have sat there and watched them smoke heroin, but the animals, where I was like, I don't understand what they had. This has to do with that, and I don't like that.
Yeah. This is uncomfortable to me. Yeah.
My favorite weird animal stories is my great uncle. I remember this was like I was 5 or 6. I remember this so clearly. He had caught a raccoon, like he had a bunch of coon dogs. So he did that. I thought the dogs were cool, like a bunch of beagles and a couple actually coon hounds. And they were cool. And then he had a trapped one in a cage. And I remember me and my dad walking up to look at it, and I went to pet it, and my uncle like slapped my hand. He's like, he don't like being pet, he's mean. And I remember saying, then why do you have him as a pet? And I remember the look on my great uncle's face, like that had never occurred to him.
Well, yeah, he's shocked. Like, is there an option besides having this angry animal in my home?
He's like, I caught one. I didn't shoot it. I caught it. So I was being nice. And I was like, what? I was never just being 5, being like, let that fucker go. He doesn't like that.
Growing up, my aunt was dating a fellow who had a huge number, and this was in suburban Texas, had a shocking number of exotic reptiles, and he had a shark in his suburban house, like a nurse shark. And he also had a massive, very profoundly ill-tempered iguana. Now, I love reptiles. I'm a big reptile fan. And as a little kid, I was even more into them. And I desperately wanted this animal to be my friend. And he had to sit me down and explain to me, like, when I got this animal, it was already an adult. It is not hand-trained, and it will kill you if it gets out and you get close to it. That tail can break a grown man's thigh bone. He would smash you into bits. And then it got out like 3 days later when we were watching his house for him. And his parents had to come over, and there was like all of the adults in my life were basically like wielding broomsticks to try to knock this animal into like a box that they could lock it into and then throw the box in the cage. Is this?
Wow.
Yeah. Why do you have this thing? As an adult, I wonder, why would you continue to own an animal that hates you that much?
That hates you.
Yeah, profoundly hates you. I get having an animal that's indifferent to your existence because fish are fun, but hates you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was messing with that. I remember messing with the liger. This guy had when we went to the cat lady, her husband brought out this liger cub. And
oh no.
We thought he was kidding because I didn't know they were really real because of Napoleon Dynamite. That's what I thought.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, literally, when he's like, it's a liger, and me and the sound guy were like, this fucking asshole. And then as they're shooting B-roll, I went and looked it up, and I was like, dude, they're real. They are real. So then I start messing with it, and it's about the size of, like, a big Labrador Retriever. Do you know what I mean? Which is a cool size for a cat. Because, like, that's a fun dog to mess with, too. Like, you can kind of waller with it. And I was, like, messing with it like I would a dog, like, with its mouth and all that. And then the guy goes, stop that. And I was just like, what? Is it going to kill? He's like, no. He's like, when he gets older, he won't know that that's playing, and he'll kill me playing like that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm leaving in, like, an hour, so I'm just going to keep doing this.
Animals like that are kind of like the weird people you meet out in the woods, in that you have to have very strong and sturdy boundaries in order to keep them successfully without getting killed by them.
Yes.
But there's, I don't know.
It's a healthy respect, I think.
Yeah.
Like we had this girl lived in our back house for a while, and she had a hairless cat that she rescued.
Nope.
And that was mean cat.
Yeah.
To attack everybody. Well, one day I walked in there when we were first getting used to it, and it was just me and the cat came at me, and I was raised on a farm. So my foot did this instinct thing and kicked the shit out of the cat across the thing.
Sure.
Because we're establishing boundaries. And then my wife and our tenant a couple weeks later was like, why doesn't the cat attack you? And I was like, oh, we have an understanding, because I attack back. And they would never attack. They were just afraid of the cat for 2 years. And I was like, you guys, it's an animal.
Yeah, there's a certain level, and I think you have to grow up around animal. Like, I grew up on a cow farm. That was a lot of my earliest memories. Like, it wasn't, we owned the farm. They weren't our cows. Somebody else basically licensed the farm. But, like, it was my backyard was like 150 acres full of, 100-something head of cattle and these 2 bulls that were penned up separately, that bulls were. And, like, the only like, warning I got from my parents was, like, don't get close to the bulls because they'll kill you. But it was also just, like, go do, like, you have a dog. Like, the dog is expected to keep you alive. Go out and wander around in the field. And there's a level of, I was maybe 6 the first time I saw, like, the severed head and spinal column of a dead calf. And it was because some sort of animal was murdering calves in our yard. And then my dog found it in the morning and dragged it out to show us and was like, look, guys, look what I got.
This is
so
crazy.
happy.
There's free food back there.
This is such a good day.
Why do you guys look so sad? This is great.
This is the best team thing ever. Yeah.
It was just laying there.
This, to your comment about just sort of like responding to an animal attacking you, like, yeah, you fucking kick it, you know? Like, you kick it. There's a level of, brutality is the wrong word because brutality implies that it's pointless. But there's a level of acceptance of physicality that is sometimes violent with animals that comes with growing up in the country.
Yes.
There was a thing, again on my my former partner's land out in the middle of nowhere. Like, they had a farm, and every now and then they would shoot a coyote on it. And in order to keep the coyote away from the other coyotes away, you would hang the dead coyote up as a warning to the others, because they're smart enough. They know what, like, that means. Like, they see the corpse of a coyote hanging above a barn, and they're like, oh yeah, don't fucking go near there. Those people will kill you. It's just like a thing that you do. That I think
it's communication, and it's nature's communication is more aggressive than a lot of city dwelling people understand.
Yeah,
I see it like one of the things that frustrates me and actually makes me laugh. It used to frustrate me. Now it just makes me laugh. It still frustrates me. Is in LA, you see, because vanity is such a problem here, and aesthetic is what people are going for. They like the look of a certain dog.
Yeah.
And they'll buy a dog that's not, like, its breed is like a good example is like my cousin-in-law, he had a beagle. And he was like, the thing is so loud, and it just it tears up my house.
Oh, and they have horrible health problems with their ears.
Yeah, and I was like, because you shouldn't have it in Culver City, California.
No,
that dog needs to be just chasing whatever, and it's loud because it needs me to hear it, so I go shoot the thing it's chasing.
Yeah, it's like people. I don't know. I don't want to go on like a rant about huskies, but Hollywood's a weird place for a dog like that to exist, and you see them. But it's also like. Yeah, there's 2 kinds of people who will tell you that their dog is a wolf. It's people in like fucking Portland, Oregon, who want to seem cool and just have a perfectly normal husky dog, and then it's people out in the middle of nowhere who are telling you don't go into that fenced-in yard, that's where we keep the fucking wolf dog.
And that's a wolf.
Yeah, that's a wolf.
Like, oh, that's a wolf.
You can't have him inside. He just destroys things. He will eat his way. He will get bored and eat his way through the wall. Let me show you what he did to the last wall when we let him inside before.
We tried to domesticate him, but then we realized evolution hadn't domesticated him yet. So we keep him outside now.
Turns out he's just a 180-pound monster that we keep in the yard.
If we're being real honest, he allows us to keep him. That's what it is.
That fence won't hold him. If he continues to not eat the children, we'll keep feeding him.
We're good. We're good. I think that's the whole thing with the Tiger King, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think city people understand the relationship that you have to have with animals in rural areas. They're more part of your life. Like when I go to Alaska, I know I had to learn what animals, like you see a moose and they look goofy and silly. They're huge, but the way they move is just like, I guess. But they
walk like
murder
assholes.
people
Yeah.
more than humans do in Alaska. So it's like that kind of stuff where it's like someone walked out of the Anchorage Public Library while I was up there one time, and a moose kicked his head off. Not completely, but like enough to make him dead.
And that is why basically everywhere in Alaska you're allowed to carry a gigantic handgun around if you want.
And you can be a little drunk. That's the rule.
Sure.
Yes.
I don't see how being drunk should stop anyone from carrying a gun, Billy. That's your right as an American.
I just mean
like
legally
the founding
in a lot of
fathers.
places you can't be drunk and with a gun. But in Alaska, you can be. And when you go up there, like, that makes sense. You should be a little drunk.
It's interesting, on a little of a rant, which places, because in Texas, right, if you have a concealed handgun license in the state of Texas, any amount of alcohol, you could potentially get arrested. It's kind of up to the officer's discretion, even if you're under the legal limit. If you have a concealed handgun license and are carrying, they can at their discretion arrest you, because Texas
That's a good rule.
It's not a terrible rule necessarily, especially Texas has one of the highest rates of alcohol-related violent crimes in the United States. So, like, there's a specific thing they're dealing with.
No way.
I have a friend who was driving down fucking the fucking high five in DFW, and a bullet just went through the windshield of his car right in front of his face as he was driving. Like, who knows? I'm sure alcohol was involved. Whereas in Oregon, you can be as drunk as you want while carrying a concealed handgun. And as far as I know, it's never caused a problem. And I choose not to look into that any further, Billy.
No. You need people. You need lumberjacks. And
you need
find
lumberjacks.
a lumberjack that's not drunk with a gun.
Yeah, sure. Do your best.
It's like drug testing servers. There's not going to be a restaurant in it.
Yeah. If you require chefs to be sober, there will be no food.
Nope.
Yeah, it just won't happen. Yeah. So, Billy, we're going to roll out to ads here, and I don't have a good transition. But when we come back...
That was smooth. That's one of your smoother ones, actually.
I want to talk a little bit about what happens when, like, the specific species of rural weirdo goes elsewhere in the world. Because I have a story or two about that.
That is okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about an expat I knew. The rough story. The title of the story I'll give you is "The Pedophile Who Saved My Life." So we'll talk about that when we come back from ads.
Let's talk about modern home shopping. It's sort of become a fun side hobby, right? Scrolling listings at night, dreaming about kitchens you've never seen, or backyards you haven't even stepped foot in, all from the comfort of pretty much anywhere. Redfin knows a lot of people like you want to own, but are stuck in this browsing mode loop. That's where Redfin flips the script. With listings that update within minutes and tours you can book right from the Redfin app, you can see your dream home the moment it appears. Now, liking a listing is easy, but actually landing it, that's where Redfin comes in. Redfin has over 2,200 agents with local expertise. And Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. That means they want to help you win, not just window shop. Redfin is built to help you go from just looking to wait, this could actually be home. So become the newest neighbor on the block. Visit redfin.com to start finding and start owning. That's redfin.com.
You've never been one to settle. Stand down or stand still. You're a lifelong learner, energized by excellence. There's a fire inside you you can't ignore. You've got competition to outrun, momentum to build on, and your own high standards to meet. Stop now? Not a chance. At Capella University, we help you catch what you're chasing because you've always had the drive. Now, go earn the degree. Capella University. What can't you do? Visit capella.edu to learn more.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Meaningful Beauty, the famed skincare brand created by iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford. It's her secret to absolutely gorgeous skin. Meaningful Beauty makes powerful and effective skincare simple, and it's loved by millions of women. It's formulated for all ages and all skin tones and types, and it's designed to work as a complete skincare system, leaving your skin feeling soft, smooth, and nourished. I recommend starting with Cindy's full regimen, which contains all 5 of her best-selling products, including the amazing youth-activating Melon Serum. This next-generation serum has the power of melon leaf stem cell technology. It's melon leaf stem cells encapsulated for freshness and released onto the skin to support a visible reduction in the appearance of wrinkles. With thousands of glowing 5-star reviews, why not give it a try? Subscribe today and you can get the amazing Meaningful Beauty system for just $49.95. That includes our introductory 5-piece system, free gifts, free shipping, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. All of that available at meaningfulbeauty.com.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats Knix leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
Okay, we're back.
What if it's just Jared? What if the pedophile who saved your life is just Jared Fogle from Subway because you just lost a lot of weight eating?
He was a little bit like if Bhagavan Antli was a pedophile, which he might in fact be. But if he was,
that name doesn't help.
There was a weird Hindu mystic connection to this guy.
Billy, take my money for that joke.
So we're talking about like the weirdos, like because the kind of people who are the focus of Tiger King and the kind of people that I think I certainly find really charming about rural America, like is part of what draws me out to the middle of nowhere is meeting these weirdos who are too weird. They couldn't live in a city. They just it wouldn't work. You know?
Right. The most normal guy in the entire docuseries was that Mario guy that was sentenced to 100 years behind bars.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
The guy in South Florida that had the compound and he wouldn't let people in.
Oh, the guy that Scarface was based on?
The Scarface guy, yeah. Scarface
I liked that guy. He seemed like a good guy.
He was the most normal guy in the entire thing, and he was the guy that was sentenced to prison for 100 years and then got out after 12.
My friend Brooks Wheelan, a very funny comedian, said that about. He was like, yeah, the guy that based Scarface on, he's not even interesting enough to be in this documentary.
Exactly.
And I was like, that is true because he's pretty smart.
Yeah, he's smart. He clearly, the murders and stuff that he was related in were, business related as sort of like a practical, pragmatic thing. And I think all of the other people who, again, I am explicitly alleging here have committed murder, I think they were more passionate killers,
Well, they got in the way of something they wanted.
They got in the
wasn't
way.
a business problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, if you were to hang out on Mario's land with him, you'd be perfectly safe, right?
Yes.
Unless you, like, tried to do violence to him. And I'm sure you would have a great time because he seems like a pretty cool dude, in spite of the fact that I'm sure there's mountains of blood on his hands. But sometimes you meet cool dudes who have killed a lot of people.
Well,
It's
and I
whatever.
don't think that shook him.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think he's a business person. So he's
Yeah.
like, hey, there's a good UFC fight on. I've got it. We're going to use a projector. The Lions are going to watch. It's going to be a good time. You're like, I bet he's got good pot. I bet he's got great pot.
He reminds me of some folks I've hung out with in, like, rural Bosnia, where it's like, about 15 years ago, you did some things that I wouldn't believe if you told me, but we're having a good time now, and you have so many weird puppies.
Yes.
I also really respected his wife's monkey clothes collection as somebody who dresses their animal in clothes against their will.
Yeah, that's important.
It's the same type
Animals don't have a right to not be dressed up. I believe that strongly.
Yeah, that is mean.
Anderson,
I like
would you like a treat? Yeah.
It is the type of, like, that Mario guy's that you're exactly right. He has the same energy as, like, a former, like, I worked for military intelligence, and that's why I married this Russian lady, and I help her raise these lions. We're just like, my life was very exciting. Now I'm retired, and this is kind of boring and nice to me.
Yeah, this is boring and nice, and I need whatever I do during the day to have, like, a chance of killing me, but I don't want it to require that much effort.
Yes. Yes,
like,
and I need to know why it's going to kill me every day and not change. Yes.
Yeah, I've known variants of that guy whose dangerous thing was they were self-taught electricians who had, like, retired to the land and had projects, and every one of their projects was like, well, one of these days you're going to slip up, like, and this will catch up to you.
And they
but you're
say
fun right
negative
now.
stuff about the BLM for no reason.
Oh, they're very angry at the BLM.
Yes, where I had to, I was like, I don't even know. Is that some terrorist group? Oh, no, they're just, okay, I got what it is. Okay.
As a general rule, of the folks we've talked about today, probably less than a third of them have legal driver's licenses, but all of them drive.
Yeah.
So the pedophile who saved my life. So
yeah, back to that.
we've got there are all these weird people that we've talked about who live out in the middle of the country, and because they're too weird for cities. And then there's another classification of people, and most of the ones I've met are in fact Southerners, but they're too weird to live in the middle of nowhere. They do something that gets them exiled from the United States, and they wind up as expats. And they're always So I'll just tell you about this guy. So I'm in Guatemala, and I'm hiking. There's this big fucking volcano, the tallest peak in Central America, that I hike up with a friend of mine, and we have a couple of friends of mine, and we have a little standoff with some bandits, and it was a great memory. And so we come down this mountain, and we get on a bus to head back to the place we're staying, which is like 5 hours away from the mountain in rural Guatemala. And the place we're staying is Lago Atitlan, is this beautiful place that has a decent amount of tourism, relatively built up cities, even though it's kind of like a little in the middle of nowhere. But the road there, you're just in the fucking jungle. So like a couple of weeks earlier when we'd been on one of these drives, we'd like chartered a bus and had been driving in a bus, and we just got stopped in the middle of the jungle at midnight by a dozen men in camouflage with no patches or rank or insignia and machine guns who stopped us and searched our vehicle, said nothing, and then waved us on. And
That's the way you want that to happen, though.
Yeah, that is the way you want that to happen. And there was like an empty, flipped over box truck, a quarter mile down the road with its lights on that had clearly been robbed. Like, who the fuck knows what was going on? But this is like the kind of country that you're driving through. And we're driving through it, and we take what's called a chicken bus. And a chicken bus is a giant school bus that's been covered in chrome and painted ridiculous colors. And they drive them on these hairpin, a lot of times unpaved mountain roads. They'll fill them up with fucking 200 people and just be darting down these things at 70 miles an hour. It's real fun. So we're taking this chicken bus, and there's aside from my friends and I, it's my partner at the time, her girlfriend, and my friend Josh, and we're all in this car, and we're the only other like we're the only other white people other than this one French Canadian girl who's seated up front, and everyone else is a local. And when the bus stops in the middle of a random small town, and they tell us our connecting bus is there, and it's the middle of the night, and they toss our bags off, and they toss the French Canadian girl's bags off, and then they drive off with her still in the bus. So we realize 30 minutes or so into this, we're in the middle of a jungle. There's no one around us. We're not in a town, and no bus is coming to pick us up. And also, we have this stranger's bag, and we're in fucking bandit country. So after, I don't know.
And her bag's in French. We don't even know what it means.
Yeah. So 30 or 40 minutes go into this, and we just start hiking. And it's a kind of situation where, like, yeah, this could go really, really badly. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. We don't even really know we have a vague direction for where the town we're going is, but it's probably at least a 5-hour hike away. We're just in the middle of nowhere in the jungle in a foreign country. And as we're hiking and, like, terrified as to whether or not we're ever going to, like, figure out how to get to where we're trying to go, this Range Rover pulls up, and sitting in the front of a Range Rover is a dude who looked like the Dilbert guy. He was a...
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Land Rover or Range Rover? Land
Rover.
Okay. Because the Range Rover, that's even more like, where the fuck you got a Range Rover?
No, this was like a real, like, this wasn't like an LA mom Land Rover either. This was
I was just thinking like NFL wife.
Like, yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. So he pulls up, and he's like this Dilbert, Scott Adams looking motherfucker. Like, he's thin, and he's bald, and he has a very, like, gentle Arkansas accent. So he pulls us. He pulls over by the side, and he asks, like, very politely, "Do y'all need a ride?" And we're like, yes. What are the odds that we run into this American in the middle of someone like we can talk to and very easily explain where we're going? And so we pile into his car, and he's like, "Oh, it's great that y'all are heading to Atitlan. I'm headed there myself." And then he picks up a bag of raw meat of an indeterminate type that is sitting, like, by my feet in the front seat of the car, and says, "I'm going to go sell this to my friend Paul. He runs a hotel in the town." And this sparks a very strange series of conversations. So it becomes clear that he's butchered some animals, and has decided to drive the unrefrigerated meat down to try to sell to a hotel. And that sparks a conversation about why he had to leave the United States in the first place, which is, see, he has these theories, Billy Wayne. He had these theories based on Hindu mythology about how his wife needed to eat and hydrate while she was pregnant with their child.
See, this is when I would have been asleep in the back, and I would have woke up being like, keep going, go on.
Yeah. So what's happening here? Well, his theory was that it was actually all of the problems kids have is because their moms eat while they're pregnant, and that his wife shouldn't eat anything at all, nothing but water. And his proof that this had worked was that his baby came out blue, which meant that it was blessed by Shiva. So at this point, we're still in the jungles of Guatemala in a guy's car who we're reliant on to get us to the town, and now we're having this. And I look back and, like, everyone in the back of the car has kind of that look on your face, and I realize, like, I have to continue this conversation for however long it takes us to get where we're going.
Oh, that's what that phrase "nothing is free" means.
Yeah.
Like, there's a tax on this ride.
So we talk about, he has a lot of opinions on rainbow gatherings, which are like this thing that hippies do that's kind of like a precursor to Burning Man. It also still occurs. It's like a gathering, and you'll encounter different opinions on rainbow gatherings depending on who you talk to. This guy thinks they're a great thing, but is very angry because he got banned from ever attending again for misunderstandings. And it becomes very clear that the misunderstandings are consent-based, and also very clear this is a lifelong pattern for this guy. So we're as we finally do get close to town, which I was happy to hear. And as we get close to our hotel, and our hotel is, the guy who ran it was another creepy expat, but a British expat, so not dangerous.
Not at all.
And not at all. He had like 4 wives, but it was fine. I mean, it wasn't fine. One of them, like, anyway, he wasn't this guy.
I'm sorry,
they would make leaps in their stories. You'd be like, there's some parts I think they're leaving out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
Like,
so
what just happened right now? Continue.
So we roll up to the hotel, and he's like, so Paul doesn't like to talk to me anymore, but I need to sell him this meat because it won't survive the trip back. Could you convince him to buy this meat from me? Which I have to try to do because he's given us a ride.
I was going to say, you this is like hearts and minds. You got to.
And I do, and Paul does not want to buy the meat. And the guy hangs out in town, sleeping in his car for another couple of days, trying to sell this meat to people. And we had a couple of local friends.
Paul's like, I know who sent you here. I know who sent you.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
the next day, we're out like walking around town, and we see this guy and say hi. And one of our local friends, we had a couple of friends who are like actual like Guatemalan locals. He sees us talking to this guy. This is a dude we drunk with a little bit. He was the security guard at our hotel, so we would hang out at night and have a couple of beers, and he would let us shoot his gun into the air because every night he would shoot his gun into the air, so people knew a guy with a gun was at the hotel. So that guy
communication.
Sees us,
that's what we're talking about.
Sold us pot too. He was a great dude.
He sounds fun.
He was awesome. He comes up to us after we say goodbye to this fellow, and he says, and notably, he looks less friendly than he ever has before. And he very carefully asks us, "Is that man your friend?" And I say very clearly, "No, not really. He just gave us a ride last night. I don't really know him." And he said, "Yeah, well, that guy has done some very bad things to some of the kids in this town, and we're going to run him out of town tonight, and if he doesn't leave on his own, like, he's going to go by other means. And you probably shouldn't be seen talking to him." So that's my story of the pedophile who saved my life. It's not as exciting maybe as it sounds, but it was a fun 2 days.
Well, and then you gave him some extra time in town. So
Not on purpose.
No, that's what I mean. But like he saw you guys and was like, "Oh, this is a little. This is
my
grace.
ticket in."
Yes.
Yeah.
This is because these guys are mad at me because of my misunderstandings.
I don't know. I love weirdos. Like, obviously, I don't love that this guy has been leaving a trail of broken lives and had to flee the United States because he definitely poisoned his kid, who he assured us his kid was doing great and a genius, but.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. No.
No, what he did was malnutrition. That's what he did.
What you did was malnutrition, and you are the kind of expat who just can't ever come back home.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. It was fun.
There are like those places though, like where like it just made me think of like a friend of mine was touring the world doing stand up, and he was like, I called him and I was like, "Where are you at?" And he's like, "I'm trying to get out of," and I'm not going to say the islands he was in the South Pacific or Southeast Asia, but he was trying to, because he was like, "I just realized the guy I was staying with is not as cool as I thought." I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, he said he's not allowed back in South Africa." And I was like, "Yeah, man, you should go right. You should. I'm gonna hang up right now. I don't want to be talking."
You know what?
You. That's
not super easy to get banned from South Africa.
That's what I told. I was like, they're pretty loose on what you can do there. And he's like, "No, I'm aware."
You need to have done a very specific kind of bad thing to get banned from South Africa.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, he was like, no, and he said it so casually too. I was like, "Yeah, you gotta go."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wound up kind of slightly beholden to some folks like that over the years because like I was always working while I was living on the road, and so it was critical to me to have internet access. So sometimes you just have to be good friends with whoever owns the business with the best internet access in town. And sometime it was like there was this other guy who owned a bar in Guatemala who was a former highway patrol officer from Arizona, and said that one of the first things he told me when I met him was like, "I used to be a highway patrol officer in Arizona and I can never go back now." And he clearly had in the recent past had a couple of $100,000 to spend on buying a hotel and a bar. And those two things were connected.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
He was a crooked highway patrol officer.
Yes.
And he was also like the big drug dealer in town. which I'm sure also tied into why he's no longer a highway patrol officer.
Yes. He saw a business opportunity and was like, I don't want to be in law enforcement anymore.
No. I want to run a shady-ass bar that gets European kids dangerously intoxicated on their holidays. And that's what he did. My last memory of this guy is... Because he also had a 17-year-old wife who'd just given birth. Which is another
It's a
pattern.
type. It's a type. That's what I don't think people that don't
the
travel...
same eyes.
They don't I've told people this a long time ago, too. It's like... Some of my friends that don't travel is like, we'd be in a bar and I'm like, hey, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. They'd be like, what? And then it would happen. They're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, I've seen this. We're all the same.
Yeah. This guy invited us to a cool party. No, I've known this guy before and you do not want to go to that party.
No, you don't. It's going to get weird about 1:45 in the morning. That's when it's going to be fun until then. And you're like, oh, this wasn't the party, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's not going to just get like weird, like your friend gets drunk and starts crying. It's going to get like nothing else will ever be normal again for the rest of your life weird.
Yes.
It will change you as a person.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, my last memory of that cop was he had his baby on a bassinet around his chest, and he was shirtless other than the baby he was wearing, and he was leaning over the counter of his bar with a jar of mushrooms preserved in honey, and he was spooning them into a naked Danish boy's mouth. And this was like, bye, Alan.
Yes. And here's the thing I don't think people understand, like, unless you've been in these situations, like, I could do this podcast for 18 hours. Because everything you bring up, there's like things I've forgotten. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy, or oh, that time.
Yeah.
It's like you can't stop these people.
No.
You can't stop the Tiger King. You can't stop Carol Baskins.
No.
They have an energy that's what propels them in this life. It's like a Trump kind of person that kind of goes through. Only thing that stops them is them.
Yeah.
Like Carol Baskins will eventually, like her wanting fame the way she does is going to be her undoing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know philosophy, but there's a thing people who I know who talk about philosophy talk about, a phrase they use, the will to power. And I don't really know what that means. But there is a will to something specific in all of these people. Power, I guess, might be one way to define it, but it's usually something weirder than that. I think Carol Baskin has this will to, like, I want to be the person who takes care of the most hurt cats.
Yes.
Like the Bhagavan wants... you see what he wants. Like this, he's built this little paradise for himself. They all want...
He called himself Lord. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear where you're like as a...
Yeah.
I'm on an armchair therapist this and be like, oh, okay. Big fan of the doc, aren't you?
Yeah. And most of them are harmless on the societal level because their dreams are so specific, right?
Yes.
They want to have 100 cockatoos or something like that.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, like, yeah, I want to give more mushrooms to 17-year-old Danish kids than anyone else has ever done. Yeah, fine. Like, I mean, not fine, because some kids got into some really bad health situations over there, but like, whatever. They knew what they were getting into, more or less.
Yeah, I've taken some stuff where I'm like, I shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's whatever. Most of them don't do societal levels of harm because of the specificity of their dreams.
Yes.
And I guess that's the thing. The ones that can be fun to hang out with and that can give you cool stories are the ones who have a weirdly specific dream. But also sometimes that dream is to see what happens if they don't let their wife eat while she's pregnant.
It is. Well, it breeds that other, because like it reminds me of like because of the 80s and 90s when there was that huge comedy boom.
Yeah.
Like these guys would own these clubs, and some of them still exist. And there's like a handful of them that are very Tiger King-esque type.
Yeah.
Because what it is, they own their own little kingdom that doesn't really mess with anything else. And the people that come in their kingdom come and go. But it's theirs, so they make the rules. And like there's certain clubs where I'm like, oh, I just don't play there anymore because you just can't. I don't have to. He has this trap where, like, that's the business model or whatever, where it's like, he's going to drink 3 bottles of Crown Royal in 3 days and then take his shirt off after the show. You know what? But he gets to do that because he's the owner, and I need $1,400 this week.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's capitalism, too.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, that's a big part of my issue with capitalism, is the amount of power it gives these people. Like, these people are a product of capitalism in a lot of ways. Like, there's aspects of what's going on in their head that obviously, I'm sure, whatever it is makes these people the way they are. People like this have always existed. But the fact that they are able to hold money over other people is, at the end of the day, what makes almost all of them able to do the bad stuff that they do. Because that gives them power over people. And it is this, the problem isn't, it's not necessarily a bad thing to want to live on a compound in the woods. Because I have a fond dream, Billy.
I have several Zillow properties. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and getting to shoot off my porch and ride ATVs with my friends and maybe keep a tiger or two and some alligators, right?
Well,
who doesn't want a couple of alligators?
The way things are looking,
yeah.
I think a tiger or two might just end up on our property.
It's possible. And what's the harm? The problem is that they build these fiefdoms that are based on this very strict hierarchy that is them. And the only thing that really matters, they're all cults, right? Even if there's no religious, like, all of the people in Tiger King are cult leaders.
Yes.
That guy I met in his fucking ranch in nowhere, California, was a cult leader. He just only had one member, but he was hoping that he would get 2 more. Yeah. That's what it is. And it's, if we discarded capitalism tomorrow for a more ethical system, they would still exist, but it would be harder for them to do what it is they do.
Yes. It would be more. It would take longer, and it would be a Carol Baskin situation.
Yeah.
Where you have to volunteer, and then this tiered, because they're all wonderful manipulators.
Yeah.
All of them. Because that's what they're doing to the animals. Is they're manipulating these base animals. They're manipulating these animals on this base thing. Like, you want food, you got to do this. You got to do this, and that's what they're doing to these people that want to be around the cats.
Yeah. And that's why my motto is never trust anyone with a well-behaved dog. Just anyone who can train a dog is a dangerous, manipulative person. That is I'm taking a strong stance against the training of dogs here.
Some of them.
Yeah. It's a bit that doesn't have any legs, but sometimes you say
like
things.
A German Shepherd is like, you can't really control one. They say they're very smart, but they like, everybody I've ever talked to is like, every now and then they just go nuts, and you're like, well, then it's like, that'd be like if you're like, yeah, I have this machine gun, it's pretty great. Every now and then it just shoots for no fucking reason.
It usually only fires when I pull the trigger. That's a little bit like owning a Taurus, actually, but or certain Remingtons, unfortunately. Yeah,
you gotta make things in mass. Shit.
Look, triggers are hard. You can't be expected to get them all right.
They're not that important either, you know.
No, exactly. There's so many other parts of the gun to get right, but the trigger.
That's exactly right.
Oh, Jesus. Well, Billy, I feel like, you got any other stories you wanted to make sure to drop out on this one before we roll out from this special episode?
So special.
I'm trying to, there's not like, I went to the people in Nevada. That was one that stood out because she was a big cat, and that was a very specific type of human being. But weird animal people are always fascinating. I spent a lot of time in Florida, so I'll write a book about some of these characters because it's just...
Yeah. I know that I am profoundly driven to meet and hang out with these kinds of people in my life, and it has caused me to make a number of decisions that if my life were a movie, I would have gotten murdered very quickly. I have regularly been like, I'm in a cabin in the woods and there's a dangerous person showing me his antique gun. Okay,
I let a drunk native girl in our cabin in Alaska at 5 in the morning.
Oh boy, yeah.
I mean, I eventually got her out, but the next day I told people about it, and they yelled at me. They were like, "Oh, that could have been terrible, dude," because everyone's armed. I was like, "I don't know, it was snowing, it was cold, I don't know." They're like, "Nope, just leave her." And I was like, "Okay, all right."
Just because, like, you're not supposed to let strangers into your cabin at night?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We make these bad calls because there is something, like with the Tigers. Mm-hmm. There's something intoxicating about being around this kind, which is why they're able to form cults. And the healthy amount to be around them is just long enough to realize they're profoundly dangerous, and then you leave with a story. And I'm sure. Yeah.
You just nailed why I love the show. It's because I've been around all these people, and it's scary. But when I'm watching them through the television, I can turn it off, and it's just funny.
Yeah, this won't be a problem for me.
For me.
For me.
Yes. Yeah.
It will be a problem.
It is a problem.
For me. Yeah. On a societal level, it's a problem. And
Can
it's
I
a
ask
problem
you another,
for a lot of individuals. Huh? Yeah.
Can I ask you another, just a quick, when did you realize meth was such a part of it? Because they don't tell you till later, but like, when was it clear?
Oh, when I saw the boyfriend's teeth, you know?
Yeah.
That was a pretty clear, like, okay, that's. I mean, there's also like Joe's general demeanor.
Yeah.
You can tell when people have been abusing methamphetamine for a long period of time because of their speech patterns and the way that they move their body in a lot of ways, and in a way that kind of like their emotions within a sentence will arc.
That's when he's on the 4-wheeler chasing that tornado. I was cry laughing. And I was like, they've got to talk about him being on drugs. I was like, that's someone on drugs.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, well, I don't know. People, the tornadoes happen there a lot. And I was like, yeah, they do. And that's why people don't chase them on fucking 4-wheelers. They do happen a lot. They know not to do that.
And I think the thing people have to understand about methamphetamine as it relates to these folks is that it isn't the cause of the behavior. In the same way that if you start a gasoline fire, the gasoline doesn't cause the fire. The lighter causes the fire, just like any other fire you light. But the gasoline alters the character of the fire in certain predictable ways that can be dangerous.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's certain barriers nature has put in front of that human being that meth is like, we'll just get rid of those.
Yep. I've only done meth once, and it wasn't crystal meth. You know, it was in its pill form, and that was about enough. You know, it I can see how you can lose yourself in it, because what it really does that I imagine would be most addictive is it makes it so much easier to tunnel into a task. like that thing people talk about that state of flow. Like that, like fucking, you know, everybody in Silicon Valley is trying to figure out how to like hack your brain so you can be in a flow state and produce more. Meth is a shortcut to that in some ways. And I was in one of the most blissful flow states of my life, filling up 120 gallons worth of 5-gallon gasoline cans, shirtless in the back of a truck in rural Texas. And I was not taking the proper safety precautions, but I loved every minute of that.
You getting it done.
Yeah. It's that, and it's that Joe lived his life in a state of flow until he wound up in prison because he was not thinking about certain consequences.
No, he was not. No, that is that flow is like, I know friends of mine talk about sipping that syrup, that codeine syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like, and they talk about like, is a comedian friend of mine, and he was like, I was rapping and flowing like it was unbelievable. I was like, oh, so that he's like your brain doesn't work until you start talking, and then it's the sharpest thing you've ever, like, you're the sharpest you've ever been when you talk. And I was like, oh, that's why rappers, he was like, that's exactly why rappers use it. He's like, because it channels this thing. And I was like, it also causes seizures. He was like, that's why I had to stop doing it.
Yeah, it's that fucking DXM.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh,
it's just
boy.
fascinating, because that's what we're all trying to get to, is that.
Yeah, and I think that drugs and the kind of people who can make us feel like we're on drugs are the most dangerous thing in the world. And they're also pretty fun. So
yeah.
Go drive out into the middle of nowhere, find a rich, dangerous person, and hang out for no more than 3 hours or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Treat them like it's like Vegas is 3 or 4 days. Treat it that kind of person like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. And like, don't when you're hanging around with a tiger, don't turn your back on them.
They are both wild animals. Yes. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the Carol Baskins TikTok video, you should probably go do that.
Sophie's a fan of the talks. I don't think it's going to catch on.
No, don't like the talks like this talks.
No,
like that.
it's going to catch on.
The Chinese are hoping it will.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to make it. Coronavirus
the tweens
joke,
are hoping
although there's an easy one to make.
It was a good one. We'll let the
an easy
fans
one to
do
make.
it.
Yeah, they can put that one together. There's enough of that from the racists that I don't need to encourage it. I hate when I have an idea for this would be a good joke, but it's not far enough from what racist people from that kind of humor for me to make it. It's not a racist joke.
Welcome to my career.
But
Welcome to my whole career.
Yeah, I know.
With this mouth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could sell that joke.
Gotta
I'm
be
gonna have
careful.
to sell that one. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to sell that one. That's a lot of
We did eventually, just as a coda to the story of the pedophile who saved me, we did eventually we got into contact. So the next day when we were in town, the Ayudante, which is the assistant bus driver, found us and got the woman's bag. And we'd reached out to her on Facebook that night because we found her info written in the bag. And he got the bag and we assumed everything was fine. And 3 years later, she messages me on Facebook I never saw this message until now. No one ever brought my bag to me. So I was that guy just stole your bag. It was a good time.
That's a great end.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, I just saw this. Nah, I didn't get that back then.
And that's the end of this episode. Yep. Go.
Where can people follow you, Billy?
Christ be with you.
Billy Wayne Davis on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to catch where I'm going to be touring one day, bwdtour.com. And then I have a cannabis podcast coming out April 20th. It's called Grown Local, where we go to... The first season's about Eugene, Oregon, and the community and people that make up their cannabis growing.
Excellent. Well, speaking of cannabis, a lot of dangerous rich people in the cannabis industry, so hang out in rural Oregon, too. It's a great place to meet them.
You should listen. I was doing that edit where I was a couple of them, I was like, oh, that's a different podcast, so I can't talk about that one on this one.
All right. This has been Behind the Bastards. You can find us online at behindthebastards.com, but there's no sources for this episode, just life experience. You can watch Tiger King if you haven't yet. It's fun. It's exploitative, but whatever.
It's also really sad.
I'm going to rule right now that it's okay to make exploitative TV about the South because of the Confederacy. So
yes!
That's the way we're going on this. And
my whole career has been trying to change the correct perception of the South.
Yeah.
Also, I guarantee we end up doing a Behind the Bastards on Jeff Lowe one day. That guy seems to have so many crimes.
Oh, you wear an Oakley hat like that? Immediately. I was like,
immediately.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyways, you can follow us at BastardsPod on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Robert at I Write Okay. And you can buy a shirt or a mug or a wall art or a sticker or a magnet at tpublic.com.
And you can take my, again, legally actionable advice to hang out with dangerous people in the middle of nowhere. It always ends well.
Or if you're bored, you can listen to the Women's War. I highly
that is
recommend
also
that.
an option.
You could do it on the way to where they live.
Oh, there we go.
Exactly. Because you're gonna be driving 90 minutes or more.
Yeah,
There
always like, and they always talk about like it's a short drive. You need to ask what that means to a lot of people like that. It's never.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of direction that tells you to turn at stumps and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Anyways, this is the episode.
Yeah, this is done.
It's over.
Bye.
Bye.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it comes to making an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
A BetterHelp ad. We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, and, of course, lots of talk about relationships. It can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives. But the truth is, we're all still figuring it out. Whether you're working on your marriage, navigating the dating apps, or prioritizing staying single, no matter where you are, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and take some of the pressure off yourself so you can determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can feel lighter. Just a little bit of outside perspective from a professional can lead to new understanding and a lot of progress. So the next time you're feeling iffy about your love life, try therapy with BetterHelp and see where it takes you. And remember, you're right on time. Visit BetterHelp.com for 10% off. That's BetterHelp.com.
This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? Business software is expensive, and when you buy software from lots of different companies, it's not only expensive, it gets confusing, slow to use, hard to integrate. Odoo solves that because all Odoo software is connected on a single affordable platform. Save money without missing out on the features you need. Odoo has no hidden costs and no limit on features or data. Odoo has over 60 apps available for any needs your business might have, all at no additional charge. Everything from websites to sales to inventory to accounting, all linked and talking to each other. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Kids, pets, life, your sofa sees it all. But with a washable sofa, stains don't stand a chance. All of our sofa collections come with fully machine washable covers and cushions, making cleanup effortless. Liquid and stain-resistant fabrics provide extra protection against everyday messes. Plus, with modular designs, you can rearrange your sofa however you like. Perfect for growing families and changing spaces. Starting at just $699, it's time to upgrade to a stress-free, mess-proof sofa. Visit washablesofas.com today and save. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.